Hey, it's Charlie. Thanks for tuning in. Table four, going to open A7 suited in middle position. It's the three bet against a shorter stack player. I think I'll fold a few of the worst suited aces like A7. Table two, face a min raise from the button. I'm in the big blind. I'll defend my ace high hands, including ace three offsuit. Planning check fold the queen 10-9 two-tone flop with no real piece of it. He checks back, first four of hearts, still not much going for this hand. I'll continue checking. It could maybe be a river bluff. Or maybe even a river value bet here on the river ace. I think we'll go ahead and just bet it out. Take that one down. Squeeze opportunity on table four. 2.5 open from the cutoff. Recreational player calls in the small blind. 10-8 suited's a little bit out of line here to be squeezing even with the Rex involved, so let that one go. Table one, open sevens in the cutoff. Table two, open 8-6 suited in the cutoff. Table one, the big blind defends. I get a great flop for me. 8-7 deuce two-tone. I'll go ahead and put a small continuation bet. Table two will fold ace-9 in middle position without any confirmed recreational players in the pot. Table one, I get check called. Turn is the 10 of hearts, completes some flushes, some straights. Still want to keep value betting, but not going to be using overbet sizes on a board like this. So I'll go ahead and bet 3/4 of my pocket sevens, set of sevens. I take it down on the turn. Broken stack that's not reloading. Suspected recreational player right here. Table one, got a new player automatically posting. Folds around after that to my big blind. I'll raise up for my big blind with king 9 suited. Give him the maybe tag for the auto post. Maybe it's a software glitch. Maybe it's just something he does. We don't know quite yet. But we'll keep an eye on it. Open limp. I think we can go ahead and change my perception to more of a confirmed recreational player based on that. Sort of an optional three bet hand here on the button against the under the gun raise first then. Don't know that he's out of line, don't know that he's fishy, so we'll just go ahead and pass on that one. Table 4, going to open King 6 suited for middle position. Get called by the big blind, checks to me on 10-7-3 rainbow. I'll go ahead and put in a small continuation bet. Table 1, got a 2.2x open from the cutoff. I'm on the button with pocket sixes, right on the cusp. I think I'll actually go ahead and flat this because we have the fish in the big blind and see if he'll come along with it. Table 4, get check called. I don't know if there's too much merit in bluffing this one. I'll check this one back and consider doing something on the river. The river we could maybe even show down here on that pairing card with king high at this point. I guess the pot size bet, then we'll just go ahead and fold. I'm only heads up here on table 1, get an ace, jack, 8, two-tone board. I've got pocket sixes. Against that small bid, especially with the diamond in my hand, I'll go ahead and float that. Turn is the deuce of diamonds. I think this is going to be a hand I'm going to start bluffing with now with the diamond in my hand. So I'm going to go ahead and bet it. Check back the river on a fourth diamond, value bet a 6. Bluff off otherwise. Table 3, opening queen 10 in the cutoff. A reasonable hand to call down with. Table 1, opening 7s in middle position. Recreational player calls the button. Get a queen, queen, 3 rainbow board. I think I'll go ahead and I think this one actually makes sense to kind of bet out and then go into a check call mode. We fold out overcards. I put him into a spot where fish start bluffing a lot in position. Table 2, an open queen jack from the button. He raises me, but raises me small. I'm not going anywhere against a small raise right off the bat. Somewhat worried about trip queens, but not folding to one small raise here. Turn is the ace. I'll check to him. Expect him to not continue with a whole lot of bluffs here as much, especially on that card. He stabs for half pot. I think now it's time to go ahead and fold the 7s. Especially if he's got some kind of ace high type hand, which It's not an unreasonable hand to expect a guy like this to raise on the flop. He just actually hit, so the ace is not a great card for me, in my opinion. Table 1, blind down blind. I'll defend the 3x open for a call with 8-7. Get a king 10-4 rainbow flop. Probably check that one back against the check. Fold against the bet. Checks, I'll check back. Turn is a 5, giving me a gut shot now. Table 3, opening king jack under the gun. Table 4, opening ace jack under the gun. Goes ahead and probes small. I think I'm going to go ahead and put in a bluff raise here with some equity. Table 1, big blind calls, trucks to me. I'll continuation bet small on king 8-4. I'm not expecting really any folds here, so I'm giving this one up. Oh, and I give up against a better draw. That one stings. That's why you don't do that very much. Table 3, big blind checks to me. I'll continuation bet small on 8-7 deuce, two-tone. Get raised. Don't need to float too lightly here in these positions. I'll let that one go. Squeeze opportunity on table 4. Cutoff opens 2.5. Recreational player comes along in the small blind for a call. Gonna go after this fairly aggressively. Ace-5 suited, very reasonable hand to do it with. Table 1 gonna open 10-9 on the button. Then small blind. Face a 4-bet. Probably just fold the ace-5 in that formation. Could maybe jam it in the button formation. Table 2, under the gun min raises. I'll defend the big blind with queen 8 suited. 5 deuce deuce rainbow board, no backdoor draw. We'll check fold versus half pot. Table 2, or table 4 rather. 2.5 open at the gun. Recreational player flaps the button. Whale type player flaps the button. I don't call small blind very often. With the whale in there and pocket deuces, fish in the big blind. It's not terribly likely to squeeze. I'm going to call looking for that third deuce. We'll get to the flop a bit more often than I should with the fish in the big blind. And we'll do a lot better when I hit that third deuce post flop with the whale in there in position as well, plus this guy that might call and did. So I think that's a very reasonable spot to call, even if you normally don't call from the small blind very much. Keep checking around, low board, paired board, pocket deuces has a smidge of showdown value, even four-handed against like ace high and Broadway cards. So I'm not going to bluff that one. Table 3, opening king 10, blind down blind. Table 1, got a 5x open from a recreational player, large sizing. I've got ace king in the big blind, so of course I'm going to be playing that. Pop them up to about 16 here. He four bets and four bets big, like repots it on me. Table two, I'm gonna open King Jack suited. Not folding Ace King for 100 blinds, even though I don't think this is terribly bluffy. I'm just not gonna do it. Not against a fish. Not against a reg either. Ace King versus Ace King. Table two, my button open gets three bet by the small blind. A little bit smaller than typical size, more about 4x. Can call a few extra hands. King Jack suited is going to be in the defense range, even against normal sizes, certainly against the smaller size. Monotone flop, but the wrong suit. I've got the spades and the hearts are out there. He leads out for about a third pot. I will fold my whiffed king high. Table one, opening Jack 5 suited on the button. Table one, going to open pocket sixes from middle position. Table two, cutoff opens. Let's see here. Table one, I'll get a three bet here from the big blind against my pocket sixes. Large three bet, tight formation. I'm going to be very cautious in that spot. Table two, however, I'm not going to be so cautious with the pocket queens. I'll be going to head to three bet instead. Obviously, very standard. Against the cutoff, raise first in. Face a four bet about 2.5x. And just get queens, kings, and ace king in here. Probably trap my aces. Table one, 2.5x open from the button. I'm in the small blind with king 9 suited. I will go ahead and go after him there. Table three, going to open 10-9 suited under the gun. Table two, opening eights in the cutoff. Get three bet on table one. Just go ahead and fold. Table two, my eights gets three bet out of the cutoff against the big blind. Pretty healthy size there as well. Get very cautious against the big blind three bets, especially when they're size and big. I think I can actually make a very snug fold there. Table one, blind on blind. He's only 12 blinds deep. I've got a pretty decent king high. I'm just going to move him all in. I don't know if that's really good or not, but I'm not really a short stack tournament guy, so I don't really understand. But I don't think it'd be too bad. Puts me all in. King 7 against King 6. Happy about that. Don't love the flop, but I like the pre-flop setup. And I like that the river pulls me back ahead too, so. Table 1, got a cutoff open. I'm on the button with King 10. It's probably a little out of line. I don't think he's going to give me a lot of respect either. Table 2, men open from middle position, defend the big blind with Jack 6 suited. Check the Jack 4-4 rainbow flop. Table 3, gonna open Jack 10 in the cutoffs. Table 2, we continuation bet small. I'll check call with my weak top pair. Check the turn. Table 4, got an open limp under the gun. I'll isolate from the cutoff with 6-5 suited. Slight overbet double barrel. Very few, if any, good cards for me here. I think I can actually make a snug fold. Some got a bluff catcher type hand that's just not going to shut on good very often. My isolation raise gets 3-bet. I will fold 6-5 suited against that large size. Pops me up from 4.5 to 18. Already getting an awful lot of money in there pre-flop. Really not calling against that larger size. Have some jams and have some small 4-bets. Don't really need to call. Table two, up an ace 10 from the cutoff. Half stack showed up here at table two. I was just about to shuffle it out, but I'll keep it now and play against the 50 blind player. Guy using the 3x open looks like he's playing a lot of hands. I'll keep an eye on him in the meantime. Yeah, ace king versus ace king. Ace king is good on the four flush. Action table, queens against kings, but he was stacked from before, had no money left. Table one, 2.5 open from the button. I'm in the big blind with ace king, so I'll get in there too. Table three, 2.5 open from middle position. I'll three bet the small blind with ace 10 suited. Pick up both of those pots pre-flop pretty quickly. Table one, opening queens from the button. Table three, cutoff opens. I'll three bet the button with ace jack suited. Table three, open the cutoff with king 10 suited. Small blind three bets me. Pretty reasonable size, normal size. I can defend pocket pairs, suited broadways here against that size. Cut off first small blind. Take the flop with king 10. Decent flop for me. 10-8 deuce rainbow. No back doors. That's large on the flop. Interesting. Can't fold top pair second kicker to one bet. Table four, opening pocket tens in the cutoff. Table four, opening queens under the gun. Now this could be draws or it could be over pairs, but I'm calling it down. Against pocket kings, I'm in real bad shape. Table two, get a limp, get an isolation. I'm gonna go ahead and three bet in position with king queen. Maybe a little loose, but I think that's okay. We just three bet and cold four bet on table four with pocket queens. Was planning to four bet and call off against the middle position player. Against that kind of action in this formation, I think queens is a fold. Kings and aces get in, ace king suited, even ace king off. You can maybe muck against some wild action like this. Table three, just going to go ahead and bet out my top pair on that monotone board. Cannot get my stack reeler. There it is. Both checked back. Interesting that neither player would have bet that flop. Gotta think at least one of them has ace king based on that. Table three, gonna isolate ace eight suited against this open posting 30 blind player. Jams all in over the top. Fold that, gonna open eights in middle position on table two. Jacks with the cold four bet, and it shows down good. Wow. He called with pocket nines. The jacks I don't really mind. The pocket nines is a little bit questionable, I feel like. Table two, opening king queen under the gun. Table four, defending the middle position open from the big blind with ace jack. Table three, isolating the limper with jack eight suited. Gonna put in a small continuation bet on ace seven four and then fold as he jams down my throat. Fold the ace jack here against the continuation bet on king nine seven two tone, no back doors. Blind on blind, table two, gonna three bet 6-5 suited against the 3x open. Get that one through. Table four, got a open posting player, isolate from the button with pocket tens. Calls me. Table two, button opens. I'm in the small blind with king jack. Gonna go ahead and put in a three bet with that one. Go ahead and just go three quarters on the flop and get in on the turn or call off against the check raise here on table one with the small overpair on 9-7-5 rainbow. He calls, turn is the seven. If he has a hand like 7-6, he just got ahead of me, which is not great, but I feel like we just gotta get this money in now. 9x is still coming along. get more money into that flop so I can just go with it on the turn. Actually folds the turn. Gonna open 9-7 suited middle position, kind of loose, a little on the cusp, but I think it's okay with some wrecks out there. Table 2, blind down blind, recreational player limps. I'll check in 7-4. I'll check back against the flop check on ace, ace, jack, two-tone. Folded the pot size turn stab. Table 1, gonna open ace king under the gun. Recreational player calls me in position, heads up, get a queen 10-4 two-tone board. I do have the king of diamonds in my hand to coordinate with the flush draw. I will lead out small on this flop as I like that better than check calling or check raising. Calls, turn is the 5. Let's see. Gonna overbet here. If I hit jam all in, probably give up against another call. Recreational player on the button, open jams 15.5 blinds. I'll fold king 3 in the big blind. Table 3, open king 9 suited in the cutoff. Recreational player calls me in position on the button. Table 4, opening 4 is blind down blind. Flop a flush draw on queen 4-3 two-tone. I'm going to go ahead and continuation bet small. Blind on blind, table 4, I got a 10-8 for a two-tone flop. I flopped the bottom set. Gonna go ahead and continuation bet that. Hit the jack, or hit the king rather, for top pair on the turn in table 3. Gonna slow that down, check, give him a chance to bluff into me. Table 4, flush closing turn, hits the 3. Gonna continue value betting. Gonna go ahead and bet 3/4 or so. Having made the flush on the river in table 3, gonna go ahead and reopen for value. Use 3/4, and I guess I could overbet it as well. Staying off a 4 flush over there on table 4, not the runner I was looking for. I am gonna check and try to show down against a pair with no spade. Showed down against 5-6 with a single spade, which picked up a double gutter on the turn. It looks like to go with that bit of equity from his spade. Going to open aces on the button on table 4. Squeeze opportunity on table 2. I'm in the big blind. Middle or under the gun rather. Min raise as a recreational player on about a half stack calls. I'm just going to take the flop with 5-4 suited here. Table 4, got an limper under the gun. Going to isolate the cutoff with king 10. Table 2, flop a pair, 9-5-3, flop checks around, turn to the jack. Going to continue checking my pair, not going to try to make them call with worse or full better. Table 4, I get limp called, and I get a king 5-4 two-tone board. Do have the king of hearts in my hand to go with my top pair 10 kicker. Going to go ahead and put in a small continuation bet here. Check fold my low pair on table 2 against that turn stab. He calls me on table 4. Turn is a 3. Does complete some straights. Going to go ahead and check this back. Keep the pot a bit smaller. Move closer towards showdown. Blanky river 8. Bluff catch here if he decides to bet out with some kind of like busted heart draw. Doesn't, so I'll try to reopen the river for value here. Table 3, limped pot, queen 8 deuce. I had checked in the big blind with queen 9. Check the flop, face a flop, stab, check, call my top pair against the recreational player. Call with pocket deuces over here, so this guy is definitely on the fishy side. Calling kind of stuff. He's playing sort of tight passive. I was about to leave, but I think I'll stick around. Just going to keep trying to shut down my queen here or bluff catch. Not going to try to get him to call with worse. I guess I could maybe block bet the river to try to get called by an 8. I don't know if, he might just have total air balls that would stab. He had king 8, so maybe a block bet would have worked. Table 3, button up and limp, so I'll complete the small blind with ace 9. We have a raise and a re-raise from this tight passive player. Would normally be planning to get Jackson in a formation like this. I think I'm going to be slightly tighter just because this guy's been tight thus far. I'm still going to use this hand as a cold 4-bet, but I'm probably not going to be stacking off with it. I still got a cold 4-bet it. Get the RFI player out of there. And the cold 4-bet actually works and gets through, so that's why you don't get too crazy assuming a guy is overly nitty. You'll slide things slightly pre-flop one direction or the other, but don't get too out of line. Table 1, limp pot. I completed small blind with king 9, checks around on the flop. King 9-9-3, turns the 7 of clubs. I think there's more merit to checking here and trying to let a draw bluff hit the full house with the 9 king on the river to go with my trips. He checks back. He had pocket 5s. Not expecting him to have a ton of actual shut-on value at that point relative to draws in that particular line from the big blind. So I think there's merit towards checking to try to induce a bluff. The big hands are going to bet, or call or raise no matter what I do. Trying to figure out how to maximize value from the parts of this range that either have marginal showdown value or just air balls that are busted draws. My thought was there's more value in getting value from busted draws by giving them a chance to bluff than there is by trying to get another bet to be called down there. Could be wrong, but that was the logic. This guy's actually got some limps going on too. He's limped a couple times. Did cold 4-bet Jack Jack. I don't think that was bad though. I think that was actually kind of good. Have to see if those, keep an eye on what else he's doing. The limps, a couple of limps are usually indicative of a recreational player. Interesting spot here, 3.5x open under the gun because of this dead blind posted player. I've got ace queen on the button, so I'm going to be raising that. Pop him up to about 10 here. Suited broadways, eights or nines or better, somewhere in that range. Ace queen, a couple of wheel aces, something like that. Seems like a reasonable range to three bet in this spot. Here comes the four bet. Knocked me right out of there. Table two, open eights in the cutoff. Table three, new player on a half stack. Post the dead blind. Cutoff player isolates 3x. I've got queen nine suited in the big blind. Probably a little bit loose to three bet, but pretty close. Table two, my pocket eights open gets three bet by the big blind. Reasonable size. I'm going to go ahead and call this Jack 10 9 two-tone. I guess I technically have an open-ended straight draw, but I've got nines, tens, jacks. I've got queens. I've got all sorts of pairs plus draws. Got some two pair combos like Jack 10, 10 9. That's small, but I think I just want to actually be folding the under pairs here. I think I've got so much stuff that coordinates with actually hitting 9, 10 Jack, or it's got overcard, Broadway cards, straight draws, whatever. I think we actually fold the eights here. Table three, button open limps. I'll isolate from the small blind with ace jack. Recreational player, open limps, middle position. I'll go ahead and isolate from the button with king four suited. Limp re-raised. Table one, gonna open king five suited to the gun. Little on the loose side. Going after these recreational fishy short stack players. Getting 9-5-4. Rainbow board. Gonna check my bluff catcher. Marginal showdown value here. He stabs half pot. Check call my five. Turn is an ace. He checks back. River is a deuce four straight. Gonna check and try to show this down. Don't love that texture for bluff catching against fish anymore. But I do like the sizing he's chosen to use. I do like that that is very heavily overbluffed. Not a massively profitable spot, but I think it's going to be okay to bluff catch here. Yeah, and you snap off his queen eight. Gonna cut the session short here. Got some people coming over to see me. I may be back later tonight, though. Table 3, 3x open from middle position. I'm in the small blind with Jack 10 suited and go ahead and put in my 3-bet. Table 2 open at Ace 5 suited from middle position. My 3-bet gets called. Got an 8-6-3. I got a little low board. I don't really have any piece of that. Actually gonna go ahead and check range on this board. He checks back. Got an 8 turn. I'm gonna go ahead and actually. Do I want to start bluffing that? I'll be a little more cautious. Table 2, my middle position 3-bet. Middle position RFI gets 3-bet by an imposition player. I'm gonna go ahead and use this as a bluff. Gotta bluff the jack high here now on that low double paired board. Worrying get looked up by ace high too easily here is part of the problem, but got away with it. Got my ace 5 suited 4-bet through also. A few things working out here for me at some point today. Table 4 opening jack 7 suited in the cutoff. Against the 3-bet from the small blind, I will fold that. Gonna open jack 10 from middle position. Got a weaker player in the blinds. Get 3-bet, so I'll fold that one too. Couple of hands left here on the last two tables. Gonna open a little bit light under the gun, table 1, 5-4 suited. 25-ish blind recreational player calls. Gonna open Jack 10 light under the gun also on table 3. Get called in and out of position by a couple of shorter rec players. Got a 10-9-7 monotone board. Just gonna go ahead and check range here, sandwiched between two guys. Turn is the ace. Multi-way, no real equity. Going to continue checking my 5 high. Bluff the river if we get that far. We don't, so fold against the half pot turn stab. It's jack with the jack of hearts. I was never making that fold. That's the last hand, so I'm going to shut the session down for now. Till next time, this is Charlie Murphy signing off, and thank you for watching.